Hey Bees, I'm Marie from Humblebee and Me, and today we are squishing up this lovely test tube of bath time goodness. This is a cinnamon sugar dry foaming body scrub. So as the name kind of gives away, the bulk of this scrub is sugar, just normal white granulated sugar from your kitchen. You do want to make sure you are using just that type of sugar. Brown sugar has too much moisture in it and that will cause problems. Icing sugar is just kind of going to turn into a paste, and berry sugar is a lot finer than granulated sugar, so for a body scrub it's probably too fine to really call it a scrub. So yeah, just stick with like normal granulated sugar that you'd make cookies with. The kind of brown cinnamony color of this actually comes from the inclusion of some rhassoul clay rather than cinnamon. Cinnamon has the potential to be really quite irritating on the skin, so our cinnamon element actually comes from a cinnamon fragrance oil, which is a safe way to get that gorgeous scent without, making your epidermis angry. The foaming part of this scrub comes from the inclusion of some very finely powdered sodium cocoyl isethionate, but you could definitely use sodium lauryl sulfoacetate instead if that's what you've got. Between the fragrance oil and the inclusion of a bit of liquid oil, which keeps everything weighed down so you're not inhaling a bunch of this as you use it, we do have the potential for some clumping, and so to prevent the clumping, I have included some dendritic salts. The making part of this is really simple. You're just going to want to put on, a pair of gloves and kind of massage everything together in a bowl. You will want to wear a dust mask as you make this so you're not inhaling the powdered surfactant. That's very unpleasant. But once the product is done, it has enough liquid in it to weigh the powdered mix down, so it's not nearly so floaty and you're not worried about that during use. As always, if you'd like to learn more about this formulation, please make sure you are reading the partner blog post, which is on humblebeeandme.com and linked below. There is a ton more information there, including information about scaling, shelf life, substitutions, where to buy the ingredients, where to buy packaging, and a whole lot more. But yeah, I think that is about it, so let's get started. We'll begin by combining our dry ingredients in a bowl. So you'll need 11.7 grams of coarse rhassoul clay, 45 grams granulated white sugar, 9 grams of a coarser sparkly sugar, or you could use Epsom salts instead, 10 grams dendritic salts, and then this here is 20 grams of finely powdered sodium cocoyl isethionate, but before I work this in, I'm going to pop on my dust mask. So here's my dust mask. You want to make sure when you are working with surfactants that your mask fits really well. So this one does. It's got a nice sort of flexible bit that touches your face, and then you can tighten it to your head with these elastic straps. I purchased this from Lee Valley, but you can certainly get similar things from hardware stores all around the world. When surfactants are like this, dry and really finely powdered, they're very prone to floating around and then being inhaled, and that's very unpleasant. The finished product will have some moisture incorporated in the form of oils, so it's not an issue then, but it is a bit of an issue now. So on we go with the dust mask. So to weigh down the scrub and to make it a bit richer on the skin, we're going to include a bit of a liquid carrier oil. So this is moringa oil, but you could easily use any other liquid carrier oil that you have and like. We need 4 grams of it. For the cinnamony scent, I'm using this Cinnamon Swirl fragrance oil from Brambleberry at 0.3 grams. Now I have intentionally chosen a fragrance oil rather than a cinnamon essential oil due to usage rates. The maximum allowable usage rate for cinnamon essential oil is very, very low, whereas we can use a lot more of this fragrance oil so we can get a much stronger scent without worrying about skin irritation. Now I'm going to put my mask back on because I'm going to be stirring this back up again. Once everything is incorporated, we don't need a mask anymore, but we still need it now. So once the mixture is uniform and has a consistency of sand, not like dry sand, but also not super wet sand, just quasi damp sand, I guess. That part is done. So our next step is spreading this out and leaving it to dry a bit for a couple days. So you could use a rimmed cookie sheet. I'm just going to use this 8x8 baking pan. I'm going to spread the mixture out a bit here and then leave this to dry for a couple days so that we have less chance of clumping. And I'll probably kind of come back every day or so and give it a bit of a stir to make sure that we're getting as much exposure to the fresh air as possible for the whole batch. After about 2 days, you can package up the scrub. So for packaging, I'm going to use these cute little test tubes from Humblebee. And to hold them up, to make them easier to fill, I'm just going to pop them in a beaker. I'll throw one that's already complete in here as well, so we get everything to stand up nicely. And we'll just use a funnel here to make this easy. So that's about it for the making of this cinnamon sugar dry foaming body scrub. So now it is time for a bit of a use demo. Figured we'd grab what was left at the bottom of the beaker from spilling. So if you use it like this, just a little bit sort of between the hands and up against the skin, you'll get a really nice scrubbing effect. You can see we get a good amount of lather built up, and that really exfoliates the skin nicely and leaves it feeling really, really soft and gorgeous. And if you want more lather, you can use a loofah. So this sort of makes it less of a scrub and more of a dry, powdered kind of body wash. But we can really work up an amazing amount of lather with a loofah. There you can see we're getting lots of just really gorgeous, rich, silky lather there. So yeah, beautiful, and smells wonderfully of cinnamon sugar to boot. And there you go. So we just made a really lovely cinnamon sugar dry foaming body scrub. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and please make sure you read the full blog post linked in the description box below. If you have a question about substitutions, scaling, shelf life, why I made a certain formulation decision, all kinds of things, you'll probably find your answer there. So make sure you check that out. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.